Zakarini. Remember that you were servicing Mizraim with the mighty hand and stretched out arm, Yahweh redeemed. If you say in your heart, these nations is too esteemed, you should well remember what y'all did to the Pharaoh and all of his team. Israel, remember this, these 40 years y'all led us in the wilderness to prove us we would suffer to hunger, to know what was in our heart, but we refused to be humble. Fed us with manna, but we knew it not, nor did our fathers know, but y'all did it so we can know man don't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth when Yahweh speak and listen. Don't ever think that you got it all by yourself. Remember, Yah Elohim give you power to get that wealth. Remember and forget not, these 10 times we rebelled, provoked Yah to anger in the wilderness. Now we dwell in the land of our captivity. Y'all said, remember me, and we gon' loathe ourselves when we remember our iniquities. We broke y'all's heart with our whorish ways. Remember the former things of old. Ain't no God like our Elohim. Yahweh redeemed us. He told us 7 times to remember we was a bondman in Egypt. Remember what he did unto Miriam by the way, and unto Amalek by the way when we came out of this place. Remember y'all signs and wonders, his marvelous works and judgments. Forget Jerusalem, then let my right hand forget his cunning. Remember the name of Yah by the rivers of Babylon. Yeah, we sat down and wept when we remember Zion. Truly the light is sweet and a pleasant thing it is for the eyes to behold the sun. And if a man live many years, let him rejoice in every one. But remember the days of darkness, cause many of them will come. All is vanity till we done. On my people, remember now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and how Balaam the son of Beor said we was chosen, so you can know the righteousness of Yah. And every moment remember the law of Moses. Please, Zakarini.
And you already know what it is. This is another Shabbat talk with your brothers, Avia and Moreh Achi'ka. And this is Spit Your Truth, the podcast, and the segment is Shabbat Talk Covenant Edition. And guess what, y'all? We on verse 8. We are on verse 8, and the brothers go eat. So without further ado, I'm about to sit back and listen and enjoy this one, because last week's was spicy, very spicy and very delectable. So I'm gonna let the brother go ahead and do what he do. All praises.
All praises. Shabbat shalom to everyone. Again, let's give praise to the Almighty One of Yaakov, which is Yahweh. I also want to give honor and respect to the brother Aviyah, who has allowed us to come on this platform so we can share the Most High's word. All praise be to the Most High for him and his family and his dedication that we see here today. Okay, so last week we pretty much covered the first 7 verses, or the last few weeks we covered the first 7 verses of the covenant, because this is the covenant edition, and I've been talking to you about what does the covenant actually mean and why the Most High has said what he said. It is imperative, and I repeat, it is imperative for us to fully understand why he said what he said. Just reading the words is not good enough. Knowing the Hebrew language is good, but it's not, you got to understand what's behind it, right? So the Hebrew language is about culture. So if we don't understand the culture in which this is written in, because the Most High is talking to a people from a certain culture, he's talking to a people that he is familiar with. He's talking to a people who are the descendants of Abraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov. He's talking to a people that he has tailor-made a way of life for them. Okay, and it all begins with the covenant. It has to be remembered, right? It's something that he's remembering, right? This is the very covenant he's remembered, and I want to share that with you, because often we read what the covenant is, but you don't understand why you're keeping it, and you don't understand. You're thinking that he's saying that he's done with us, or he's done with the covenant, like the New Testament would say. Oh, he's done with us, and the covenant is no longer in place. It's the 10 commandments, and all we need to do is keep the first 2, or if you do these 2, then you've summed it up, and so it's all good. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you right quick, if you could share my screen, I'm going to share with you out of the writings in English just for now about the actual covenant that the Most High has not forgotten. And There's several covenants that the Most High has made, but the covenant I'm talking about, or I'm going to share with you, is the covenant the Most High is talking about. Okay, he has not broken his covenant, and this is found in the book of Leviticus. Okay, Leviticus. All right, so I'm pulling it up right quick for us. It's in the book of Leviticus, and it's found in chapter number 26. Okay. And what we're going to do is I'm going to read the whole chapter. I'm going to just read the part where it talks about how he has not forgotten the covenant. Okay. Let's begin so we'll understand what's being said here. A lot of people get this confused. Okay. I'm going to begin in verse number 41. Hopefully you can see my screen. Okay. Verse 41 says something. It says, at that time, I will be going against them. What time is that? The time that he's talking about is a time when you and I are scattered to the nations. But what does this have to do with the covenant? Because this is the covenant edition. So why are you talking about this? Well, because this is where you're going to find out what the covenant is, why you're scattered in the lands of your enemies. And at that time, the Most High is not for us. The Most High is against them. And here's the proof of it. He's bringing them, who the children of Israel, into the lands of their enemies. So how is it that the Most High is for us while you are in the lands of your enemies? What is the Most High really looking for? Why we're in the lands of our enemies when he's going against us? Okay. He says, but if their uncircumcised heart grows humble and they are paid for the punishment of their misdeeds, then I will remember. I'm going to remember the covenant, my covenant with Yaakov. Okay. I'm also going to remember my covenant with Yitzchak and my covenant with Abraham. And I will remember the land. The reason why he mentions Yaakov and Yitzchak, which is his father, and Abraham, which is his father, is because, and it's not three different covenants. It's the same covenant that he made with Abraham that he transmitted down to Yitzchak that he gave to Yaakov. He told him all the same things. That I am going to give you land. Okay. So, and he says, and I will remember the land. That the covenant he's talking about there in verse number 42 has to do with the land. This covenant that he's talking about right here has absolutely nothing to do with the covenant that he promised to the children of Israel. Okay. And I'm going to show you that in just a moment. Then he goes on to tell them that the land will lie abandoned without them. Who? The children of Israel. And it will be paid its Shabbats, which you and I are going to talk about the Shabbat today as part of the covenant. Okay. So the land has Shabbats. She will be paid back her Shabbats while it lays desolate without them. So right now, the land is in complete desolation. And they will be paid. Who? The children of Israel will be paid the punishment for their misdeeds. So the land is going to be lay abandoned without them, and the land will be paid her Shabbats. So while the land is receiving her Shabbats, her Sabbaths, you're being paid punishment. Got it? And the reason why you're being punished is because of misdeeds. Of what misdeeds? The misdeeds that you're doing in the lands of your enemies? No, You're being paid for the misdeeds that your ancestors and that you have committed against the Most High, because they rejected my rulings and they loathed my regulations. So while you're in the lands of your enemies, you ask yourself the question, well, when did I reject the rulings, and when did I loathe the judgments, which are called the regulations? When did I do that? And that is the big secret to the Torah, that you don't believe that you're responsible, but you are. That's the reason why you are in the lands of your enemies. This is the reason why you're being paid for the punishment of your misdeeds, right? Why? Because they rejected my rulings and loathed my regulations. Who? The people that I'm going against them. And in spite of all that, I will not reject who? Them. So you rejected my rulings and loathed and hated my regulations, but I will not reject them. Who? The people of Israel, the sons of Jacob, when they are in the lands of their enemies. So he's talking to the people that are in the lands of their enemies. Nor will I hate them to the point of utterly destroying them. Because if I utterly destroy them, then I would thus break my covenant with them. What covenant? He's not talking about the covenant of Abraham. He's not talking about the covenant of Jacob or Yaakov. He's not talking about the covenant of Yitzchak. He's not talking about those covenants. He's talking about the covenant that he made with them, because I am Yahweh their Elohim. Rather, for their sakes, I will remember the covenant. Which covenant, Achi'ka? The covenant that we're going over today, and the covenant we've been going over for the last couple of weeks. Talking about the Aseret HaDavarim, the covenant that you should memorize and that you should know. The covenant is the agreement. And the agreement he's talking about is the one that I made with your ancestors, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. That covenant. Okay, up here he said, I'll remember the land, which is the covenant he made with our fathers. Here he says, I'll remember the covenant. What covenant? The covenant for the ones whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. With the nations watching, so that I might be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. Going back to the first word that he says in the covenant. I am Yahweh. These are the laws and the rulings and the teachings that Yahweh himself gave to the people of Israel on Mount Sinai through Moshe. Okay? So here, it is, I'm their Elohim, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yahweh. Why? Because I'm remembering the covenant. Why? Because I said I would be their Elohim. Why? Because I'm the one who brought them out of the land of Mizraim. Why? Because all the nations were watching. That's why I'm going to remember the covenant. Because I spoke to you these words out of the fire to you and your ancestors whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. So this is the reason why we should memorize the covenant. Again, the covenant was not, this covenant that we're talking about, people, was not made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It was only made with the children of Israel, the descendants of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Deuteronomy chapter number 5 will help distinguish what has been given to us versus to them. Verse number 1. Then Moshe, that's the way you say his name in Hebrew, called to all Israel and said to them, listen, Yisrael, Shema Yisrael, listen to the laws and the rulings which I'm announcing in your hearing today, so that you will learn them and take care to obey them. Yahweh, our Elohim, it says Adonai, but in Hebrew it's Yahweh. Our Elohim made a covenant with us at Korev, meaning Mount Sinai. The word Korev means a sword, meaning the place where vengeance would take place. because the Most High said, I will avenge the covenant, okay, which I should show that to you. But he's telling you, if you don't keep this covenant, I'm going to avenge the covenant. In the covenant, since it was given at a place called Korev means the sword. Okay, that's what it means in Hebrew. Okay, so Mount Sinai was the place of the sword. So when he gave us the covenant, he was also saying there is a punishment with this covenant. It is said that Yahweh did not make this covenant with our fathers. Talking about Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and who else? Talking about Reuven. He did not make this covenant with Reuven. He did not make this covenant. He said, well, he made it with the children of Israel. He made it of the children of Israel. He made it to 12 tribes. Yes, the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. He did not make this with Reuven. He did not make this with Shimon. He did not make this with Levi. Not them physically. He made it with their descendants. He says, but it made it with us, who are all of us here today, alive today. When Yahweh spoke to you face to face from the fire on the mountain, which is in complete opposition to what has been stated in what they call the New Testament, that says the Most High has never spoken to human beings, and only Christ has ever heard of him. That's not true. The Most High spoke to you face to face in the Hebrew, panim panim. He spoke to you face to face. You had an actual experience with Yahweh. You see? So the covenant that was made with us is at Korev. Now, to bring it back into its proper understanding, you and I are going to go, because I said it, so because I said it, I got to prove what I'm saying. We're going to go look in the book of Leviticus. I told you that there is vengeance if you don't keep the covenant. There will be vengeance against you. Okay? So going back to the same chapter number 26, that says that I'm not going to forget the covenant I made with your ancestors, whom I brought out of the land of Egypt. He's going to tell us that I am going to bring vengeance against you. Listen carefully. I want you to listen very, very carefully to what the Most High has said. Okay? It's not what Achi'ka is saying, it's what has been said to Moshe from the Most High Yah. I will bring a sword against you. Okay? Which will execute the vengeance of the covenant. I'm going to execute vengeance on you. That's what I'm going to do. You see? So, if you look right here, the word is sword. Chapter number 26, verse number 25. I will bring a sword against you. This word sword in Hebrew is called korev, which is the same word that's used for the mountain that the Most High gave the covenant. So he's telling us that when I made a covenant with you, what's attached to the covenant is a sword against you, which will execute the vengeance of the covenant. Meaning, if you go against the covenant, I'm going to bring a sword against you. Meaning, I'm going to end you. Okay? So let me go now and ask to share another screen with you. Can you share this screen, brother? Let me present it right quick. Let me share a screen. I want here. I want to share this one, and you bring it up for us right quick. This is in Bible Hub, okay? And I'm going to show you where I'm going. So you'll know, I told you right here, we're going to Leviticus, right? And we're going to go to chapter number 26. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm here to teach you. I'm here to show you how to navigate, to find out what's been said. You have to put the pieces together. Chapter number 26, and it was in verse number 25. So I can prove to you that I say Korev is a sword. That's what I said, right? Well, let's see if it's true. Here in Hebrew, right here, we're reading from right to left. Okay, in Hebrew, it's from right to left. And I will bring Aleichem against you, a Korev, right here. A sword, same word in English. It says Korev, this is Korev, and a Korev is a sword. And it is going to execute. It means, here the verb stem right here is a participle, meaning that right now, this is the no kemet, meaning that little O sound right there, that no, N-O, right there is telling you that it's actively happening right now. Vengeance is being met out right now. Why? Because you have gone against the Berit, the covenant right here, Berit. Berit. That's how you say covenant in Hebrew, Berit. So because you've gone against this, I'm going to bring the Kerev against you. I'm going to execute the vengeance against you, which is the Naquam, which is no Kemet. I'm exercising the vengeance that belongs to the covenant. So that's where I wanted to bring you so I can show you that it's not Achi'ka that is making this up and making up stories like, a new doctrine. I'm telling you what it says in the language so you can better understand why you need to understand the covenant. Because he's going to take vengeance on you. Anyone who goes against this covenant is going to get vengeance. Why? Because his name is attached to it. We left off last week in verse number 7. Okay. And here is something that I want to share with you. This mark right here tells me in the original scrolls that everything that's been mentioned from verses 1 all the way down to 7 all go together. Verse number 8 is separate from verse number 7. There were no verses inside of the Hebrew scrolls. They were just lines. And within these lines, there were spaces. This right here represents that now I'm going to open up another discussion. Because this letter right here that I'm showing, I got highlighted in the green right here. It has a P above it, but in Hebrew, it means a pay. It means the mouth. That's what the letter pay means. It means the mouth. So they're using this letter right here to tell us that the conversation about in verse 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 7 has now closed. The mouth is closed. And now when you see this, it means now the mouth is going to open, and the Most High now is going to change the subject. Okay, so the first part, he's dealing with idolatry. He's dealing with how you're using his name in vain. Your lifestyle's not good because you're going around not saying that, you're saying something totally different than what he said. But here he tells us in verse number 8, which is another line, another information, a new subject. The subject is the Shabbat. The Shabbat. Okay. Got a ha on the front of it. It's not a Shabbat. It is the Shabbat. That's what that letter hey right here. The is an article to tell you that I'm talking about the Shabbat. Okay. So the first word that he tells us right here is called Zakor. You can see right here above the word Zakor right here. That's how you pronounce it. Zakor. Zakor. And what does Zakor mean? All right, we're going to get into that. They have it as being remember. Remember, that's what Zakor means. Remember. But Zakor doesn't only mean remember. It doesn't only mean remember. It means memorialize. It means a mail, M-A-L-E, not M-A-I-L, like mail that you get in the email or nothing like that. About a male, talking about something that is male, that is masculine, okay? And when it's telling us to do this, is saying it in a verb, which I talked a little bit last week, and I think the week before. It tells you that The Hebrew language gives you all these different types of ways that actions can be done. Okay, so there's 7 verb stems, but they can be used in 8 different ways, each one of them. So that's 7 times 8 is 56. So this word right here, zakor, has a possibility of 56 different ways of being understood or being conjugated. 56 different ways. It means it can be actively done. It could be passively done. It could be causatively done, actively or passively. It could be reflexively done, passive or active. It could be reflexive. It could be in a command form. It could be, a wish or desire. It could be in what they would call an imperative. It could be an infinitive absolute, which it is right here. That's what INF abs mean, infinitive absolute. So you want to know when he says to remember this, okay, it's not just a command. It is an infinitive absolute. So infinitive means that it continues on and on and on and it never ends. An absolute is it's always going to be. It's absolute. So for example, anything with a mouth will always eat. It always has the ability to eat. Anything with teeth, right? Or not teeth, or just swallowing. Anything with a mouth is always going to be able to eat. Anything with the eye is made so you can see. It's infinitive. That's the purpose. Eye will always see. A wing on a bird will always fly. Okay? When you get into the water, you're always going to be wet. That's an infinitive absolute. That is absolutely going to happen every single time, infinitively. When the sun goes down, it becomes dark. That's an infinitive absolute. Okay? So hopefully you get the point. So when the Most High talks about a zakor, okay, what he's talking about is this is something that is always going to be remembered. Just like the sun is rising and the sun sets, it's always, just like there's always a winter and a summer, those are infinitives. He's telling us that you will always remember this. And what is it that he's pointing for us to remember? He's using these 2 letters, which is the aleph tav, called the et, that you can see right above here. And et is just basically pointing you. It's a direct object marker. So what it does is it directs you towards the object. That's what a direct object marker is. It's pointing you directly. So the action, the verb, the action is this verb right here, where the V is a verb. It's a very simple way that it's always going to happen. He's saying that I want you to direct this verb, this remembering, this is a core right here, is always going to be remembered. I want you to direct that to something. And it's something that he's pointing you to the object. The object of remembering is the Sabbath day. That's what your object is the Sabbath. It is the day of the Sabbath, not just a regular day. The day of the Shabbat is always going to be remembered. And the reason why it's always going to be remembered, and the reason why it has so much significance, is simply because that is the day that the Most High decided not to do any performance of any work. Okay? So let me show you that so you will know. Okay, so we're going to go over to Genesis chapter number 1. Actually, it's in chapter number 2. Chapter number 1 is when he finished. Chapter number 1 of Genesis gives us the understanding of everything that the Most High has made and he created in the 6 days. That's chapter number 1. And I'm not going to read it for you. You should know that, right? What I want to show you is that after this, he finished all of his work. So there's the 6th day that you see. And after that is nothing mentioned about the Shabbat. The Shabbat is not mentioned whatsoever in chapter number 1. Okay. The Shabbat is mentioned in chapter number 2 of the book of Genesis. Okay. So let's find out what the Shabbat means. Okay. So it begins, reading from right to left, it begins by saying Wayeliku or Wayikalu. He had finished. Thus were finished the heavens, the Hashamayim and the Wahares, meaning the heavens and the earth, and Wakal, all of the Zeba'am, meaning all of the hosts of them. And what he talks about of them being finished is that he had filled the earth. And that's a whole nother topic we're going to get to later. We're talking about, when it says he created That word create there is being mistranslated as him creating something or making something, when in actuality, what it was is the Most High was filling the earth. He filled the heavens with the sun, moon, and the stars. He filled the earth with the flowers and the plants and the rivers and the trees, and he separated all that because the water was already here. He just divided the waters. That's what he did. The plants were already underneath the water. The land was already there. So the earth had already existed. It wasn't like the earth wasn't created. It did exist. What he did was he filled them with the things he needed to fill them with. Okay. So that's a whole nother subject. We'll get on to that a little bit later. But here in verse number 2, and he says, and why call, meaning, and he ended, and this ended here means that he completed and finished all of the work that Elohim had did on the day, on the Bayom Nahashavi'i. That's the day. So the seventh day, what they call the Shabbat, is the day, the Bayom, on the day that the Hashavi'i, Shavi'i, or Hashavi'i is the seventh. Okay. Now it's the seventh day of not a new day. It's the seventh day of the seventh time, the seventh circulation of that day. Okay. So a lot of people think that there's day 1 that was created, then he created day 2, then he created day 3, then he created day 4, and he put all these different days in there. And then when he came to day 7, he created that day. No, he did not. It's not right. It's not correct. What he did was he built upon every day. So for example, he took the day, day number 1, day Akkad, not the first day. It's not called the first day. It's called Yom Akkad. He took Yom Akkad and he built on Yom Akkad. Then when it came to the following time frame, he built on that same day, but now he called it the second day. It's the second day of him doing his work. It's not a second day. It's the second time of him doing his work on the same day. Then on the third day, he did, right? The third time, Shalishi. He didn't create a Shalosh. He created Shalishi. It was his third time of filling the places and everything that he did. So by the time he finishes on the 6th time, which is called the 6th day, he decided to rest. He said his here is malakto, which means his work. The Most High did some work, and which he did. Asher Asad, that he did. And this is what it is. This is where you get your word Shabbat, right here. Make it as big as I can. The word Shabbat is right here. Okay. So you say, well, why are all these other letters here? Well, this first letter right here, that's before, the first one right here is a wa, and that's represented by this word and. It's a conjunction that you have right here on the bottom. The conjw right here, conjunction wa. Okay, and that wa is right here. That tells you that this is going to be something that he's added here. The he is this letter right here, the yod. That's it. So it says right here, wa, and then ye, wa ye. Okay, so wa ye. So the wa again is and. This is and then it says he and he. That's how you read Hebrew. Why he? You just got to know how to say it, right? So that right there, that letter right there is he. That's the yod. Okay. So it's telling us who did this or who's doing this action. This is a verb. This is an action. As you can see right here on the bottom, it's a V, what they call a V call right here. Let's see. Right here. V call. It's telling you that it's a verb. That's what it is. So what in the Hebrew language, in the culture, verbs are nouns and nouns can be verbs because everything has motion and everything moves, right? And everything, there's an action, right? So he's saying that, and it means this is a very simple thing that he did. This wasn't forceful. This is a call, and a call means to be something simply what he simply did. And it said he rested. Okay, it's called a Wayishbot, but here it is, Shabbat, right there. So I'm going to click on 7673 to let you know that it's not just rested, it is a Shabbat, and Shabbat means to cease. So here it is, 7673. There's your word, Shabbat, right there. First time it's ever mentioned in the scriptures is in chapter number 2 of Genesis, verse number 2. And it has it as he rested. Okay. So they're saying this was an action, it's a verb. So the Shabbat is a verb being used right here. Okay. And what it means is this: it means to cease. And it means not only to rest, but it means to desist. So when you're asking us to remember, to memorialize the Shabbat, he's not just saying for you to remember it, he's telling you to memorialize it, but he's also telling you to think about something. Okay? It means male. That's what it means. Okay? And I'll look that up. I'll show you what Zakor again means. It means a male. A Zakar is a male. The Shabbat was given to us, and it was directly connected to the manna. And a lot of people don't know that. Okay? And I'm going to show you that, so you can understand why you should keep this day. Okay? It says here that the Shabbat is a verb, and they're using it in different. The King James Version right here is telling you that it means to cease and desist, right? To cause, but it also means to celebrate. So how do they connect ceasing and desisting to celebrate? Celebrate means doing something. Well, the Shabbat was designed in its intention. That's the reason why I was asked why. The intention of the Shabbat is for you to cease so you can celebrate. It's given to you so you can rest from your work, so you can desist from exertion, from having to do labor, and you can use that energy to celebrate. Celebrate what? Celebrate the rest that Yah is giving you. Okay? Celebrate the fact that the Most High said, I'm going to let you repose from your work, from the sweat of your face, the sweat of your brow. I'm going to let you do that. I'm going to allow you to stop working so you can receive rest. Just like he told us in Deuteronomy chapter number 5, verse number 5, I believe, or 5:15, that says that I'm giving this to you so you can rest and so the people that are around you can rest. This is the reason why you're not supposed to go buying and selling, because the people that are working are sweating and they're not resting. So they're in violation. You say, well, this is only given to Israel. I can show you that this law that is given to us in our covenant is for us, but it's also too for those who join to the Most High. His intention is for the whole world to keep the Shabbat. You have been given it to you as a sign between you and Yahweh that he is your Elohim. Okay? But let me make a connection for you first. Okay? Because I told you that I would. Where is that at, Achi'ka? So you're telling me that Shabbat means cease and desist. You're telling me it means to celebrate. You're telling me that it was used there as a verb. Yes. You're telling me that it happened on the seventh day. Yes. On the Hashavi'i, the Bayom the Hashavi, from all of what? His Malako. There it is. So the Most High was doing some Malaktiko. Okay. Malakto, which is Asher Asa, which he has done. Okay. And not only did he rest from his work, he actually blessed that day. Again, and that's that wa. And he, that's that yod. And then a word there is barak. He blessed. Okay. He blessed that day. Elohim, what? This day, this yom of the Hashavi'i. Okay. You can look on any calendar that you want to, and you will see that the Hashavi'i is the seventh day. And the seventh day, right, is not on Sunday. It's actually what you in the English would call Saturday. It's the seventh day of the week. Go look at it in the calendar. Sunday is considered the first day of the week. This is the seventh day of the week. Not only did he bless this day, but he is also, and that's that wa. He kadosh. Right here. Right here. It says sanctify. That's the word. Kadesh. Why Kadesh? Okay. So what does it mean to sanctify? What is he saying that he wants? Why does he want this day to be sanctified? To be sanctified means not that you're going to anoint it. What it means is that you're going to set it apart from all other days, because Israel is set apart from all other peoples. The land that we're given is set apart from all other lands. The rain is set apart than all the other rains. The food is set apart than all other foods on the face of this planet. This is the only place that the Most High has designated for the children of Israel to go and to receive their rest. Why? They're in the lands of their enemies. They're very, very limited on how they can set this day apart. Very limited, because we don't have a priesthood. Our priesthood was required to bring offerings to the Most High on this day. We were required to bring an offering to the Most High, or give to the Most High an offering on this day. Right? And so again, it says it is the otokivo, meaning that the Shabbat. It is in it a Shabbat. It is a Shabbat, meaning he rested and ceased. He's perfectly from all of his malakto, in which he bara, which he filled all the things that he did for 6 days. The Most High said that everything he did, law sold, everything he did. As you can see, that's the end of that discussion. Okay. Then he goes on to talk about how he created man. So I mentioned to you that the Shabbat is directly connected to the manna. And I want to show that to you, so you can understand why you should keep the Shabbat and what does it really mean. Okay. And what's the connection? So I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to ask the brother to, let me see here, to share this part of my screen. And let me share it with you so I can show you what is it that he's talking about. Okay. Thank you. Toda Rabbah. So this is what you want to write down so you can find out if this is true. So the first time that the Shabbat is introduced is to the children of Israel. Okay. It's very exclusive. Okay. There's several places that we can go that's going to tell us about the Shabbat. Okay. One of the first places that I want to go is to make the connection that I said. And that is going to be in Exodus chapter number 16. Okay. Without reading everything that's here, I'm just going to simply tell you that they were starving to death and they didn't have any food. And the Most High, they went to him and they were crying to him and they're asking him for food. And the Most High brought them there to this place so they wouldn't have any food, so they can be dependent upon him. Okay. So what he says is this. Verse number 4. Yahweh said to Moshe, "Here, I will cause bread, which is manna, to rain down from heaven for you. The people are to go out and to gather a day's ration every day." Okay? Every day they're supposed to go out. Every day they're supposed to go out and get this ration of bread that I'm going to rain down, which is the manna, every day. But this, and by this I will test whether they will observe my Torah or not. So he's trying to find out whether or not they're going to listen to the Torah, which is the instruction. And he's going to test them to find out if they're going to do it, if they're going to keep his instructions. And the instruction is, he said on the 6th day, the people went out to gather what they brought in. It turned out to be twice as much as they gathered on other days. Okay? Let's get down to it. That's talking about the quails. When the dew had evaporated on the surface of the desert, a fine flaky substance as fine as frost on the ground, when the people of Israel saw it, they asked each other, Manhu, which is what is it in Hebrew? That's how you say what is it in Hebrew, Mahu. So because they didn't know what it was, so Moshe answered them, it is the bread in which Yahweh has given to you to eat. Listen to this. It says that the people of Israel, Yahweh ordered each man to gather according to his appetite. Each man is to take two omer, 2 quarts per person for everyone in his tent. So the people of Israel did this, and some gathered more and some gathered less. But when they put an omer measure, whoever had gathered much had no access, and whoever gathered little had no shortage. Nevertheless, each person had gathered according to his appetite. Moshe told them, no one is to leave any of it until the morning. But they did not pay attention. They didn't pay attention to what? To instructions. Some kept the leftovers until the morning and bred worms and rotted and made Moshe angry at them, right? So they gathered morning. Every morning they gathered it, each person according to his appetite. But when it grew hot, I want you to remember this, the manna, when it grew hot, it melted. Here it is. On the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers per person, and all of the community leaders came and reported to Moshe. And this is what he said. He told them, this is what Yahweh has said. Tomorrow is the Holy Shabbat. In Hebrew, it is the Kodosh Shabbat. So this word holy right here is Kodosh that we just read. Kadesh, Kodosh. It is a Kodosh time of what? Shabbat, meaning rest. And it is for Yahweh. So he's saying, just as when I rested and what I did, you need to do the same thing. So bake what you want to bake, boil what you want to boil, whatever's left over, set aside, we'll keep it for the morning, right? Keep it for the morning. The Shabbat starts in the morning because tomorrow is the Holy Shabbat. The day starts when the sun comes up in the morning. Your Shabbat starts in the morning, okay? And I should teach you that, right? Since I'm telling you this, I'm going to make sure I'm going to teach you this too. It says set aside till the morning, as Moshe had ordered, and it didn't rot or have worms. So the Shabbat starts in the morning. Tomorrow is the Holy Shabbat, and it's in the morning. Keep it for the morning. That's when the Shabbat starts. So Moshe said, today eat that, because today is the Yom. This is the day of Shabbat for Yahweh. Today, on the daytime, you won't find it in the field. When they went to go look for the manna, it was in the morning. Every morning they would go out, and they had to go get it before the sun caused it to melt. So the Shabbat doesn't start in the evening. It starts in the morning. And he says, gather is 6 days, but in the 7th day is the Shabbat. This is the first time, and there won't be any there. And on that day, there won't be any. So the question is when does the day start? Because a lot of us don't know when the day starts, right? So a lot of people have been lied to and telling us that, if you follow the Ashkenazi or the Sephardims, and you follow all these other people that you think know the laws of Yah, then you're saying, hey, the Shabbat starts in the evening when the sun goes down. That is a complete lie. Okay? So it is my job to show you when the day starts and explain it to you so you won't get confused about when day is and when the night is. Okay? So I'm going to share that with you because this is about education, right? So let me stop my share, and I'll ask Brother Aviyad to bring up my new share. My new share is going to show you right here. Oh, is it here? See. Let's see here. I got the wrong one. Let me pull it up. Wrong one popped up. Twilight. Okay, here it is. That's what I want to share with you. You can bring that one up for me. Good. Now, I want you to verify what I say. So you cannot say that I've been lying to you. I want to tell you the truth as I always have. And anyone who wants to share Yahweh's words with you are going to be able to have to substantiate everything that they say, and they got to be able to prove it. You don't want people just talking to you to be talking, acting like they know everything, okay? This is a diagram of the day and the night, okay? And as you can see, there's some purple, blue shaded areas on both sides. There's a part that's nighttime, okay? In the nighttime is when it's completely dark, complete darkness. The daytime is when it's complete light, okay? You see the sunrise, you see the horizon, and you see the sunset. On one side is the sunrise, on the left is the sunset. So when the sun rises, it becomes daytime. In Hebrew, the word for day is yom, and that's the time where the sun rules. Okay, and that's in Genesis chapter number 1, verse number 14. Okay, there's a time when the moon and stars are ruling, and that's called koshek, and in Hebrew, it's at night, called lila. Okay, so one is light and one is darkness. The times between the light and the dark, as you can see, the darkness is divided up into 6, 12, and 18 degrees on both sides. Okay. So before the sun actually rises, it goes through these different stages, the astronomical, the nautical, and the civil. Okay. So every time it moves 6 degrees, the actual light begins to come out more. You'll be able, the sun begins to rise. Okay. The times that you have the 6 and the 12 on both sides, the civil, nautical, and astronomical, in Hebrew are called the erev, called the evening. Okay. This is where our confusion comes from, because we're thinking that the nighttime is really the evening. We've been told, hey, good evening, because it's dark. It's not. Erev in the Hebrew, and there are two of them. That means that there's a transition from darkness into light. You just don't, it's like a light switch. You just don't go and turn a light switch on and it goes from light to dark. Like the Most High doesn't cut the lights off like that. What he does is he transitions the light. So what it happens is you're coming out of the night and you're getting prepared for the day. And then as time goes on, it starts getting lighter and lighter and lighter, and the sky begins to change colors right before the sun comes up. Then it goes throughout from sunrise, and it hits the horizon, and at noontime is really, really hot. The sun starts descending and going down. It's called sunset on the west. It rises on the east and it sets in the west. When it sets in the west, before it goes completely dark, the sky begins to change colors like it did before the sun came up. That's called erev. There's two of them. There's one on the right, there's one on the left. So this transition, this mixing of light and darkness, because that's what it is, it's an exchange of light and darkness. It's an exchange of rulership, where the sun is no longer going to be in rulership, but now the night is about to go into its rulership. The sun is ruling the day and the moon is ruling the night. Okay? The Most High says that on the Shabbat is a day. Tomorrow means in the sunrise. You're going to prepare this for the morning. You'll have what you needed to know. You cook tonight, what you're going to prepare for tomorrow. So they had a prep day, and the prep day was on the 6th day. They went into the 6th night. They had all the way until the sunrise before they began the Shabbat. So people that are running around trying to hurry up and get off of work and go home and making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because you're trying to beat the clock before the sun goes down, you're doing yourself a disservice and you really don't know what's going on. Whatever you need to prepare, you prepare what you prepare, even in that night, because they received the quails that night. The food that they have from the manna from the first day, remember, he said, you got to get this manna before the sun melts it. So when are they supposed to get the manna? Before the sun melts it. That's during the day. The manna was not given in the nighttime. Okay? It was given in the Arev right before the sun comes up in the cool of the morning, and then he sat it there. Now, how does this translate besides the timing issue? Right? How does this really translate? What he's telling us is this. I want you to remember that all the work that Yahweh has done has always been in the light. Yah never performed any work in the darkness. When he says the 6 days that he worked, he wasn't doing it in the dark. He was doing it in the daytime. All of our work's supposed to be done before the sun goes down, because they did not have electricity. They didn't have lights that they can go and then it can plug in anything. All their labor was done during the day. And there's a scripture in Psalms 104 that I can point you to that you can read where it says all the animals come out to do their work. And then there's a time before the evening, before man, at the evening, man ceased from his work because it's already done. There was no offerings that were made to Yahweh in darkness. They were made in the morning and one in the evening, a morning offering and one in the evening, right when the sun begins to go down. The Passover lamb was not done at night. It was done in the evening. So the evening is where you see civil and nautical and astronomical time. So as soon as the sun went down, he said, now you can begin roasting your lamb at the civil time and the nautical time and the astronomical time. Not at night, in the evening. You understand? So Yah's telling us that everything that he wants us to remember is connected to the sun, and it's connected to the sun, the moon, and the stars. It's connected to the heavens. See? So Yah has done all of his work during the day. And because we're his people, he says that let this be as a reminder to you to keep the Sabbath day. If you don't keep the Sabbath day and you treat the Sabbath day like it's an ordinary day, I'm going to kill you. Okay? And you are offended by that. You're offended at the fact that he tells you and I that if you treat my day as ordinary, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to put you to death. Okay? So that's not really, that's not something that you and I like to hear, but it's the truth. And the reason why it's the truth is simply because if we don't keep the Sabbath day, we do not remember or memorialize that day, we're saying that Yahweh did not create the heavens and the earth. I'll repeat it again. If you do not keep the Sabbath day, you're saying that the Most High has never, ever created the heavens and the earth, that he's not the one who did it. If he stopped and said that this is a sign between me and you, then it's a sign between me and you. Okay? So now we see that it's deeper than us just remembering the Sabbath. Oh, this is the day we're supposed to start working. No, it's connected. So here's the deal. Just like they received the manna 6 days a week, and on the sixth day, they got a double portion. You and I are supposed to be going through Yahweh's Torah because he wanted to know if you would keep it or not. He wanted to know if you would guard the Sabbath. That's why he gave the manna, to find out. I'm going to use this to find out if they'll do this, if they'll keep the Sabbath. I want to know if they're going to do the work that they need to do during the day for 6 days, and on the seventh day they rest. I want to know that. That's how the manna is connected to the Sabbath day. You understand? So what are you supposed to do during the week? You're supposed to pick up Yah's instructions, and you're supposed to do what he's asked. You're supposed to go out early in the morning to get the Torah. This is why it's important for us to do what he says. A lot of us don't even know what a Torah portion is. We don't even study the Torah. We're all over the place. We're reading the New Testament. We're reading Psalms. We're reading whatever we want to read and what we feel like reading versus being on the schedule and the path like the Most High says, 6 days, do this, this, and that, and get this manna before it melts when the sun comes up. When it's going to be the hottest, it's going to be in the noontime. So what he's saying is the accessibility to the manna, which is the words of Yahweh, the man shall not live on bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. If we don't get to that manna, if we don't get to that word of Yah that he's given out, there's a certain time element that's connected to getting your understanding. Just like there was a certain time element connected to the manna. If you didn't get it, you didn't eat that day. So you didn't have any sustenance that day. So the best time for us to study the Torah is in the morning. And you have to be on the Torah schedule. Period. A lot of people don't know that. Why? Because they haven't been told. Because nobody wants to tell them, well, this is what the Most High has said. Okay? Final point before we go back to understanding, as you can see, there's more than just reading, is getting an understanding of what the Most High has said. Okay? I want to turn our attention, okay, again to the book of Exodus. And I'm going to share my screen with you in just a moment. And we're going to go to chapter number 31. And I'm going to show you what the Most High has said. So you can't say that Achi'ka said this. Okay? I want you to know that this is what he has said. All right? So here it is. I'm going to share it with you right here. Bring up my screen, Aviyah. There you go. It's up. I want you to direct your attention to verse number 13, 31:13. Just reverse the numbers, 3113. You'll never forget it. Tell the people of Israel, you are to observe my Shabbats, for this is a sign. Okay? This is a direct object marker. This is a sign between me and you through all your generations, even while you're in your exile, so that you will know that I'm Yahweh. So the Shabbat, remembering the Shabbat, everyone, is pointing you to let you know that Yahweh says to let you know that I'm Yahweh. I'm the creator of the heavens and the earth. I don't know if you know this, but there's certain psalms that are dedicated just for the Shabbat that tell you about his creation. He doesn't want you to do any work, because if you did any work, that means that you're trying to add upon what has already been done. This goes back to idolatry. If you're not keeping the Shabbat, you're an idolater. You don't believe that Yah made the heavens and earth. You don't believe that he rested on the Sabbath day. He says, so that you would know. In Hebrew, Yada means, or no means Yada, and Yada means to be intimate. With what? Yahweh. I am Yahweh. He says, Anoki Yahweh. Here, right here is the first word that he uses in our covenant. Pointing you directly to the covenant. Pointing you directly to the wilderness. Pointing you directly to coming out of Egypt. Pointing you directly to you starving and him providing food for you. Pointing directly to you ate this for 40 years in the wilderness. Pointing directly to the fact that he says it's set apart. I'm setting you apart. I've set you apart. If the day is set apart, you're set apart. Why? Because Yah was set apart. In the manna, bread, worms. Why? Because it's only good for that day. Your uncleanness on you, once you got cleansed, is only good for that day. When you became unclean, it's not good. Your cleansiness doesn't last a lifetime. It's only for that particular day. You got to wash your body to get rid of the filth from the previous day. I'm the one who sets you apart. And that right there, kadosh, means kadosh. If the Sabbath is kadosh and you're supposed to set it apart as kadosh, Yah blessed it and set it apart as kadosh. I'm allowing you to participate in that which has been set apart. If I said I set you apart, I got to set apart time for you. But who am I setting you apart for? It's apart for me, for Yahweh. Therefore, you are to guard, not just keep like in your pocket. You are to guard my Sabbath. That means you got to take up arms and make sure you guard it. How do you guard it, Achi'ka? Do you guard it in nighttime? No, it's not at night. It's in the daytime. How do you guard it? By preparing for it. How do you guard it? By not violating it. How do you guard it? By not raising your hand to do any work on it. Achi'ka, I'm in exile. How am I going to be able to guard it then? Well, that's a whole nother question. You have to ask Yah to forgive you and to have mercy on you. To let him know, even though I'm working, even though I'm forced to work, because I don't have this job, I won't eat, my children will starve to death, and I'm in exile, Yah will forgive me. So what am I going to do? How do I make certain people do certain things? I tell people all the time, you should just go ahead and, hey, you know what? Prepare your meals. So don't buying and selling. If you know you got to go to work, you should have gas in your car. You don't have to go get it out of the gas station. If you have a job where you can ask and request to have it off, you should request it off. If they won't let you have it off, then that's fine. But you should be looking at find another job if you can, that you can have that day off. You should go talk to your manager. You should go talk to your boss. You should go talk to whoever you need to talk to. They say no, that's fine. At least you made an effort, made an attempt. But if you're not able to get that type of coverage, then you make sure that you have your lunch prepared. You make sure you have your dinner prepared. You make sure that you don't participate in any other way that you don't supposed to show Yah that I'm operating out of good faith. Why? Because it is set apart for you. Everyone, not somebody, everyone who treats it as ordinary must be put to death. Must be. They found a man picking up sticks in Book of Numbers, chapter number 15, and he deliberately, after he heard what he said, went out and go pick up sticks to set a fire. Moshe asked, well, what should we do with him? Went to go ask Mosai. Mosai said, put him to death. Whoever does any work on it must be cut off from his people. 6 days work will get done, but the seventh day is the Shabbat for complete rest set apart for Yahweh. Set apart for Yahweh. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day must be put to death. The people of Israel are to keep and guard the Sabbath. And you're supposed to observe it, to do the Sabbath throughout all their generations as a perpetual covenant. I don't know if you understand what perpetual means, but perpetual means forever. It is forever. Perpetual, never ending, and never changing. Never ending, never changing whatsoever. It says it's a sign between me and the people of Israel for how long? Forever. It's never going to change. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and earth, but on the seventh day he stopped. That means he ceased from working and he rested. You understand? And when he had finished speaking with Moshe on the Mount Sinai, Yahweh gave him 2 tablets of stone tablets of testimony, which are the 10 words in which you and I are going over for the last couple of weeks, that he inscribed with the finger of Elohim. He's telling us that if you go against what I'm telling you, you're going to get the consequences of that. So we need to give careful heed and pay attention to what the Most High is saying. Now, in conclusion, I want to finish out verse number 8. I know we've been in different places, but it's important for us to understand why we're doing what we're doing and what are the consequences of going against the Shabbat. What's the consequences of going against what was spoken out of the fire? What's the consequence of that which has been written by the finger of Elohim? What are the consequences? I don't have to go further than verse 8 because that's all enough that we need to understand. Verse number 9 is going to tell us that we have 6 days to do our work. And tells us the seventh day is the Shabbat to Yahweh, Eloheka. Don't you do any type of malaka. You, your servant, your male servant, your female servant, none of you. Nobody. And he explains it. But the point that I'm trying to make here is this. If you and I don't see the connections of why we should keep the Sabbath, why should we keep the covenant of the Most High, you're going to be put to death. And when he's talking about, it's not that you're just going to die. I want to be clear about what I'm saying to you so you can really fully understand it. Okay. When the Most High said you're going to be cut off from your people and it's a perpetual covenant, and that the Most High said whoever does this is surely going to be put to death. What he's talking about is when the Most High brings about his judgment on the earth, okay, he's going to speak these words. And these are the words that's going to kill everybody because they have broken the covenant. They have gone against it. They have no good faith toward Yahweh. Okay. So these are the words that he's going to speak. And if you and I are out of compliance from here, from the mind, you're going to be blotted out. And that means that you, as a person from Israel, are never, ever, ever going to exist again. Your name will never be remembered. You're going to be blotted out. You're going to be blotted out. From what? You're going to be blotted out from the book of life. And you will never exist again. The whole thing as us as a people is that we're an eternal people. A lot of people don't know that we're eternal. We're an eternal people. Okay? And that's spelled out in Isaiah chapter number 42. You are an eternal people that is connected to an eternal Elohim. And so for us, the reason why it's perpetual is from generation to generation, this is what we're supposed to be doing. And what we're doing is we're coming to understand that we're failing Yah in this regard while we're in our exile. But there are things that you can do. Yah's not tying your hands. He's not tying our hands. Not at all. He's letting us know, like, this is what I want you to do. This is where your ancestors failed. And going back to what he mentioned in Leviticus 26, the land has Sabbath days. She gets Sabbath days. And because we didn't give her Sabbaths, we ended up being paid our punishment, being in the land of our enemies. So how important is the Sabbath? That the Most High gives a Sabbath to you. Most High gives a Sabbath to the land. He gives us 7 Sabbaths. He gives a Sabbath to all the appointed times. You understand? He gives a Sabbath to the animals. They're supposed to rest. You understand? So that's what we need to look at. And that's what we need to understand. Aviyah, you have any additional information you want to bring out?
Giving us something to really think about. I mean, I know I'm like, I have to go back and look at the video again like I did last week's and really just reevaluate what I thought I knew, and not reevaluate, but just add to more add to what I knew and polish it and make it a little bit more a better understanding, because the way that you bringing things to light, the way that you bringing things out is a different format from what I'm used to. or not even from what I'm used to. It's just it's just different. And nothing wrong with different, you know, nothing wrong with it. Is that because I'm a very objective man, and I'm not saying that I disagree with you at anything, because I agree totally, especially when you talked about the day being the day starting in a day starting in the day, you know, instead of at night. You know, a lot of people will say that, you know, a day starts at night, but a day starts with night, but not at night. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you first look at the beginning of the day, the lights, the first lights, it's the whole earth is not lit up. You just see the lights in the sky. You know what I'm saying? That's when you know it's another day, but it's majority dark, and it's predominantly dark. So yes, day starts with night, with darkness, but not in darkness. Not, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, I just said it wrong. It starts in darkness, but not with darkness. It always, because we have to look at what the Most High told us, and what he told us the sun was for and the lights was for, you know. But it's a controversial topic, and a lot of people go back and forth about it. But you brought out some good points about the and the see, the one thing I like about you, bro, is that you bring the receipts to like, you brought the receipt up, like, hey, so let's look at this diagram, and this is what it like. It's always receipt, and it's always facts. Like, it's never not what you, and you always start off with to let you know that this ain't what I'm telling you. This is fact. This is not, I ain't lied to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. And you brought it forth. All praise to the Most High. And I'm sure it's a lot of people that believe that, you know, that's perfectly fine if they believe that, you know, that it starts at night. But you know what I believe in is that it starts in the daytime. So I'll pray.
Do me a favor, Avi. Yeah, bring up what I share right quick. I think this is important. I think everyone could do their homework, because I don't want to tell everyone everything to do. I want them to actually go research it, right? So this is where the confusion starts. Okay. Verse number 5. And as you can see right here, it's talking about the first day is light. Okay. The Most High calls light day. That's what he renames it. Okay. He calls day light. Okay. So he says light, and light is or. And then he called or. He said, let there be light, and there was light. So the Most High names the door. He names it. Verse number 5, it says, and Vayikra, and right here, and that little wa right there, and the yo right there, he, that means, and he, what, kara? He called. That means he proclaimed and pronounced, and it tells you who's doing his action, which is Elohim, right? Singular, because it's third person. He called to the or, laor, he called it yom. He called it day right here. So he changes the name from light to day. So when we talk about it's the day, he's saying a day is really light, because that's what he called it. He called the day light. He renamed the day, the light day. That's the name he gives it. He says laor yom. That's what he did. He called it that. And he says, and the wa, into the la koshek, into the darkness, which he called what? He kara, perfectly kara, right here, kara. He proclaimed Lila, night. So the darkness that was already existing, he called it night. He renamed it. He kadra means he called to it. He called and proclaimed it to be night. So anytime you see darkness, the real name of darkness is not night. It's not Lila. The real name of it is koshek, meaning complete darkness. Okay? And there's a separation where he said, woe unto those who call light dark and darkness light. That's in the book of Isaiah, chapter number 8, if I'm not mistaken. Woe to those who call light darkness and darkness light. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil. There is a distinct separation between these two times. Now, this is where the confusion comes, because it says, and there was, Manawahi, There was Wahi, and there existed, because that's what 1961 is. There existed, which I told you, Erev. That word right there, Erev. That is the 6 to 12 and 18 degrees of nautical and the civil timing. That is the exchange of light. That's the time called Erev right here. Okay. So there's two of them. There's not one of them. Okay. So this Erev right here is the evening. So he says the evening and the morning were the first day. There was evening, not darkness. Erev is not Lila. Erev is not Koshek. Erev is not darkness. It's not darkness. It's not nighttime. That's where the confusion. People are thinking because it's dark, then that's evening. Evening is another time. It's called Erev right here. Erev. If you click on 6153, it'll tell you what Erev is. Erev is a time of twilight. Right here, a twilight in evenings. Twilight is when the sky is turning colors. A sunset or a sunrise when it starts changing. It's a mixture. They call it dusk right here that you can see. It's the tide of night, and it's called Arab, and it comes from the word Arav, which is Arab. And it means Arab. They got an Arab right there, Arav. Arav means a primitive to associate through the idea of a texture. It is a closing of one time to another, and it turns to gloom, right? It's a grow dusky, okay? The idea of mixture, okay? Because it's going between darkness and light. So they're not the same. Darkness and light are not the same. Light and Arab are not the same. They're not. Twilight and day are not the same. So the Most High is telling us that Arab is the time that he considers to be part of the day. Now listen, like you said, I want you to just make it clear, okay? So when he says that the evening, there was an evening, there's an evening right here, and he says, and there existed in Wahi, and there was what? Boker, morning. Both the morning and evening are the first day. Yom Echad. That day right there is not the first, because that is not a ordinal number like first, second, third, fourth. Echad is not an ordinal number. It's a cardinal number. That means that there's only one. This is not the first day. This is the one day. Day one, Echad. First day would be Ham Roshon. It's not Roshon. It's not a first day. So this translation right here is false. It's not the first. It's the one and only day. Okay. But my point is that when it says, and there was evening and there was morning, and they considered that Yom Echad. So when it says evening and morning, what time are we talking about? Well, then we have to go back and look at our example of the evening and the morning. So I'm sharing my screen with you right quick and show you right here. Mission Twilight. There you go. Pull that out right quick. So everyone, when you're looking at this, you got to ask yourself, if he says that the morning and the evening are the evening, he said it in a certain way. He said the evening and the morning. He didn't say the morning and the evening. He said the evening and the morning is the first day. So if there's two evenings, which one is he talking about? Is he talking about the one on the right-hand side of the screen, or is he talking about the one by the sunset? Because there's two of them. One is underneath the sunrise and one is after the sunset. So which one of those is he talking about? In my studies and my scholarly opinion, it's going to be the one on the right-hand side. Because that's the evening, and he said the evening and the morning, they're right next to each other. He's not talking about the one on the left, which is after the sun went down. Because if you remember, Yah started his work in the what? He started his work in the day. He doesn't do any work at night. So he's not going to start his day on the left-hand side of the screen. He starts his day on the right-hand side of the screen. So he said the evening and the morning are the first day. So the first Arev and Yom are the first day, Akkad, Yom Akkad. Hopefully you can see this. There's two evenings, one on the right, when the sun is before the sun comes up, where there's a mixture between darkness, is transitioning out of darkness into the light. The Most High is not considering a day where you're transitioning out of light into darkness. He's considering a day to be the Arev on the right-hand side of the screen when it's transitioning out of darkness into the light, which he calls day. He calls Or Yom. See? So there is no relationship. Listen to me carefully. There is no relationship of any meaningful consequence between light and darkness. There is no relationship. There is something that's placed in between them to transition them from one time to the next. But they're not one and the same. If they were one and the same, they wouldn't have been divided. Okay? Because what do you mean they're divided? What do you mean that they're divided, Achi'ka? Well, let me show you. So we can get some understanding. Let's look at Genesis, where everything is happening. Okay. Let's go down to verse number 14. So I can show you that there is no relationship between these two. Verse number 14, reading from right to left, and Wayomer Elohim and Yahweh, and he said, Yahweh, he says, let there be lights in the firmament in the heavens. To what? The Lahadil. I need to separate, to divide what? Between what? The Hayom. I want to separate between the day, the Hayom, and Uvain, between the Halayla. That separation happens through the sun, the moon, and the stars. But the key ingredient is the separation is put there by the Erev, the two times where the sun is transitioning in or out of darkness. And the one that's making that happen is the rulership. The sun, the greater light is ruling the day, and the lesser light is ruling the night. Two different rulerships, two different times. But Yah says, I'm going to divide those between each other. I'm making a division between the day and the night, so they can change rulership. So the sun is ruling during the day, and the moon and the stars are ruling at night. Two different rulerships, two different times, but they need to transition between it, where they transfer out of power until the next one comes along. So when the moon is done with its rulership, then the sun says it's time for me to come. Once I come, then I'm in charge of everything that's going on. Why is this important? Because the sun and the moon and stars are Yahweh's witnesses. They're witnesses to the day. They're witnesses to the night. The sun doesn't testify to the new moon, Rosh Kodesh. The sun cannot testify for the moon, and the moon can't testify for the sun. You understand? So when it says Yom Akkad, between Erev and the day, Erev and Erev and Yom Akkad, the Bakir, the morning and the evening and the morning make the first day. That's what happens. Okay, so there is no relationship that says that there's a relationship between the two. All they do is exchange. That's what I wanted to add to you. That's pretty much it.
So yeah, once again, y'all, we got another great lesson from the brother Achi'ka. And this has been a real eye opener as far as the Sabbath and what the Most High, why he said what he said. That's the thing that I love about the Sabbath talk that we have, the covenant edition. I'm gonna make a tag or something like that, like a like a audio tag, like the covenant edition. I don't know. I'm gonna make something like that, but that's why we and it's a beautiful thing that we can get into this, and the brother is showing us, with truth and resources and receipts that what the Most High and why the Most High said the things that he said. It's a beautiful thing. All praises, bro. So I got a question.
Yeah.
Do you ascribe to the Jewish, so they have like a 40 39 prohibitions of Shabbat, and it's like winnowing, threshing, exhausting, working and stuff like that. It just breaks down, like gives you different sectors and variations of work, and what I guess our ancestors had a notion of to what was work. Do you ascribe to it? Do you think it has some validity to it, or what do you think about it?
That's a great question. That's a great question. And the answer to that is what they've done is they've taken from the Torah the parts that they wanted, and then they added to what he said, which is a violation of the Torah, right?
Right.
So there is truth in some of the stuff that they're saying because they've taken out of the Torah, and then they decided to write their own copy, which is called a Mishneh of the second Torah or oral Torah. And so they built upon what was spoken, which was wrong, right? So the parts of it that I agree with are the parts that have to do with the Torah itself. So when we talk about any type of labor, any type of work, that's more or less, he makes a difference between ordinary work, right? So there's different types of work, right? So there's work that you do. This is a good point. I'm glad you brought the question up. There's times in which there's ordinary work that we do. And ordinary work means this. The things that you do around your household, right? Like you take the trash out every single day, you wash the dishes, right? You do all those sorts of things. That's just the ordinary common work that you do. And then there's the work that you do outside of that. So the work that the Most High is talking about in Shabbat is a lot of people don't wash their dishes, right?
Yeah.
And like Jews unplug their refrigerator and they do all kind of stuff, right? I had to help one of the sisters out because she was like, well, I don't, her husband was upset because she's like letting the dishes just pile up and don't touch anything. The Most High is not asking us not to be able to touch your dishes. He's talking about the work that was to be done outside. He's talking about the work of you working someone. He's talking about your actual career, what you do. He's talking about working in the field. He's talking about that kind of thing, right? You're employed to do something. He's talking about that work, okay? Because there's times even on on the Shabbats that there comes a time where you don't even supposed to do ordinary work, and the only time that you're not supposed to do any ordinary work that you normally would do is on Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. There is no dishes because you don't need any dishes. Why? Because you didn't eat anything. You're not preparing anything. So that makes sense, right? So and there's two Shabbats that start in. There's two Shabbats that will start in the evening,
right?
And that is Yom the Pesach and Yom Kippur. Those are the only two. So those are the two times that he says, I need you to start your Shabbat there. Start that right there. But all the other Shabbats and all the other appointed times, that's not evening to evening. It's not.
Right.
So those are, one's a visual, and the other one is talking about how you're asking the Most High to atone for a 24-hour. Okay. So the Shabbat is not limited to just the morning to the evening. Two of them are represented by a 24-hour. from the ninth day to the 10th day on Day of Atonement. From the evening of the previous day until the evening of the next one, which you would call for the Pesach. Okay.
Okay, all praise.
So that's a great question, and I appreciate that. So
Definitely.
you got to be able to make some distinguishment between those two times.
Right. Right. So how do you feel about another thing? How do you feel about like when people say like the kindling the fire?
Oh, no fire whatsoever.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because the Most High it has explicitly told us that you're not to light any fires on that day. Everything that you need to be done. Now think about this. When we go back to Exodus chapter number 16, he said, whatever you need to bake, bake. Whatever you need to boil, boil. Tomorrow you won't find it. And tomorrow there's no work. And so the guy that was picking up the wood was to build the fire. Okay. There's also a reason why there's no fire. And it's found in the book of Psalms. Because the Most High is going to use fire to judge the world. So you're not supposed to light any fire. The fire is what sanctifies.
Right.
Right. And so when the Most High was, doing all that he's doing, he rested. So there is no fire. Do not light a fire. No fire should be kindled on the Shabbat. No candles should be lit. None whatsoever. No fire outside, on the gas pit. Any flame, no fire on a candle, no fire on an incense, no fire whatsoever. The day has already been sanctified. You don't need to light any fire. It's already been set apart by God. And the day itself has been sanctified.
Right.
You're just participating in. You're not the way that you sanctify and you separate yourself from it is by saying, I'm going to get away from all these other things that are causing me to cause other people to go against what the Most High is saying.
Right.
So no fire.
So how do you feel about like having your food warming in the oven?
They have ovens that have Shabbat settings on it. I have an oven that has a Shabbat setting on it. I don't light any fires on the gas stove or nothing like that. I use the microwave. That's not a flame. But I'm pretty sure like when the people of Israel were out there in the wilderness, it was the heat that was coming off of the coals of the fire that was where it was going. So say, for example, you light a fire, right? And the fire is smoldering, right? Then all the way to the fall time you put your food on or whatever at that time back then, that was acceptable.
Right.
They didn't eat cold food. Whatever you bake, you bake. Whatever you boil, you boil, right? So they had to use fire to do that. But on the Sabbath, there is no boiling, there is no baking, there's no fire. Okay. So yeah, you can heat up your food, in the oven. There's no fire. There's no fire. Now the Jews consider electricity to be a flame. It's not a flame.
Right.
It's a source. So no, they take it a little far.
Yeah, they do add a lot to the Torah, and they do take from it a lot. Mm-hmm. Like they add and they take from it, and I think that they think they have. I feel like they think they have a grasp on it, but they really don't, because it wasn't for them, like you said in the previous teachings that and proved that it wasn't for them. It wasn't given to them. So or any other nation other than Israel. So all praise to the Most High, man. I thank you, bro. You've been very detrimental to the cause and what we trying to get done and what we trying to do in the name of the Most High, and just bringing the people back to awareness. Awareness of self, awareness of Torah, awareness of correction and judgment. You know, all praise to the Most High. We thank you, bro. And anything else you got to say, man? Because you've been on fire today, man.
Just enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, and keep in mind what the Most High is asking of us, right? While you're in your exile, so our temperament has to change. It has to fall in alignment with what He said. It's just honoring what He said. He knows that we're not going to be able to do everything He's asking. So if we can't do everything He's asking, how could what is He asking for us while we're in exile? Is it the things that He asked them while they were out in the wilderness? No, we're in this whole different circumstance. We're on a different time. So the bottom line is what He's saying is to turn back to me, to return.
Right.
So if you understand that, hey, I deserve death, then you need Yah's mercy. Perhaps maybe that's why you can't do everything. Maybe that's the reason why He knows you're not going to be able to do it. So you can ask Him for mercy instead of being arrogant enough to think that you're going to pull it off in the place that you're at, and you're not sanctifying Him the way that He wants. There's no offerings made for the Shabbat the way that He wants. There ain't no offerings for Pesach. There's no offerings for the Day of Atonement that He asked for. So what are we doing? We're playing church, or are we just going to understand what He's saying? He's saying, understand what I'm telling you. Look and ask for mercy. Don't even do what you think is right in your own eyes.
Right.
Let's understand what it is. Don't add to what I said and don't subtract from what I said. Let's see if you can do that. Yeah, let's see that. Then maybe that's what He's looking for.
Right.
Let's see if you're going to add to what I said or subtract from what I said to make it fit for your narrative. So you'll feel more comfortable about what I said. Maybe He wants us to be uncomfortable. Maybe He wants us to challenge ourselves and understand that I can't do it. What I need Yah's mercy. I can't, I got to work on the Shabbat. What am I supposed to do? Am I going to play religious games, or am I going to tell the truth? Cry out to Yah and ask for mercy. Have you shown Yah good faith? Can you do some of the stuff He's at least give it effort? Or do you all of a sudden say, I can't do nothing? I'm sitting on my hands, ain't nothing. I'm just going to wait for the Most High. No, then that means you don't understand.
Yeah, you don't understand at all.
You understand what's going on. We have to do some things. And there's things that you and I cannot do, but there's things that we can. So you figure out what you can do. And you figure it out.
All praise to the Most High. Hey, and once again, we have given y'all another one, the Covenant Edition, Shabbat Talk with our Moreh, our beloved brother, Achi'ka. And we on verse 10 now. Should be 10 or 11.
We're on 9. We're on 9.
8 and 9 were.
They're gonna go real fast.
You ain't even touch on. Okay, we gonna do that. So we ain't go. We just did verse 8. We did verse 8. Why the Most High told us to remember the Shabbat and how it was sanctified and how we should, keep this day in high respect and high regards. So the next is verse 9, telling us what we can and can't do on the Sabbath. And that's gonna be juicy, y'all. Juicy. So, hey, tune in next week. Around the same time when we go live, I'll hit y'all up on all social media platforms. Just keep your eyes open. We never go live at the same time every week because the brother has, he has another teaching that he does, and I would love to get in on that one too. But all praise to the Most High, y'all. Holla at us. We love y'all. Enjoy the rest of y'all Shabbat. Peace.
Shabbat shalom.
Give Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises.
All my praises go to the Most High, high, high. Fringes be on me till the day I die, die, die. Yeah, that's right, it's your boy from Judah. Tori keep it poppin' like a brand new Ruger. Cars iron legs from the bros, need a tutor.
All day I talk about Yah. Don't just talk it, I'm walking with Yah. Fringes in the wind, stars of David on my body. Ain't no name, ain't no name, Achi'ka. That's right, he's one. He said it in Isaiah, boy, he acted all stunned. The Torah is the truth, and the ways about the ton. By the way, in Exodus, Yah to Israel's son.
All praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises.
Hallelujah, Toda Yah, Barukata, all praise be to the Most High God. Yahweh God is me, Iriah ben Israel. Giving praise to the Most High and no one else. Don't like it, don't care, it's Yahweh all day. If you don't like what I say, then you can just fly away, fly away. Cause I'ma give praise until my dying day. Cause I'ma give praise until my dying day.
All praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah.
Giving all praises, now going through phases. The truth is contagious, the proof is outrageous. We bringing the truth to the layman. It's truth entertainment. Hit the booth and we flame it. Giving all praises to the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Hoping one day that our people will wake up and take up the yoke off your neck. Open your eyes and then he'll guide your steps. Put your law in your inward parts and in your heart and in your mind, and then you'll find it's time to give praises to the Most High, Most High, Most High, Most High. Him and him alone, for nobody else is worthy. The God in light shining bright on the path to the journey. Stumbling blocks don't concern me. Giving praise to the Most High when I'm waking up early live.
All praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, Elohim Yahuwah. All praises go to Yah, all praises go to Yah, all praises. All praises go to Yah,